The phrase, "you are what you eat," may have some truth to it when it comes to our dietary fat intake. 90% of our dietary fat intake is in the form of triacylglycerol or triglyceride. These are the fats that are enriched in your favorite barbecue or favorite ice cream. Triacylglycerol from our diet, along with other fat components, have to be digested in the small intestine before they can be absorbed by the intestinal mucosa. Pancreatic lipase in the small intestine is the principal enzyme that will break down triacylglycerol to produce monoacylglycerol and 2 fatty acids. The latter, smaller molecules derived from triacylglycerol, can now be absorbed by the intestinal mucosa. The absorbed lipids, the fatty acids, and monoacylglycerol inside the intestinal mucosa will then get reassembled into a triacylglycerol molecule, very similar to the ones that originated in the lumen of the small intestine. Of our dietary intake, triacylglycerol and other lipids are unique in the sense that they are digested, then reassembled inside the intestinal mucosa before they can be released into the bloodstream to provide nutrients to the rest of the peripheral tissues. Inside the intestinal mucosa, the resynthesized triacylglycerol is then repackaged with phospholipids, some cholesterol ester, and ApoB48 apoprotein into a lipid particle known as chylomicron. This chylomicron will then be released from the intestinal mucosa into the bloodstream, and it will provide dietary lipids through circulation to various peripheral tissues. 85% of the chylomicron composition is in the form of triacylglycerol, whereas about 90% of our dietary fat intake is in the form of triacylglycerol. As such, the chylomicrons produced by the intestinal mucosa reflects or mirrors our dietary fat intake. Once in the bloodstream, chylomicrons will be broken down by the enzyme lipoprotein lipase associated with the endothelial wall, and fatty acids released from triacylglycerols within the chylomicron are taken up by the surrounding tissues for either use of those fatty acids in metabolism or storage of those fatty acids in the form of triacylglycerol. The majority of dietary tags, excess dietary tags, are stored in adipose tissue. In fact, 90% of the adipocyte mass is in the form of triacylglycerol. As such, the composition of tags stored in adipocytes are going to resemble or reflect those tags present in chylomicrons, and the tags in chylomicrons in turn reflect the composition of our dietary fat intake.